What?
Excuse me!
All right, welcome everybody back to Unexpected Wrestling. I'm Minty. We are with Mr. Chunk here. Mr. Chunk, how's your Super Bowl Sunday going so far? We didn't hear that. I saw the Mr. McMahon thing pop up, but we did not hear any audio. Are you there, Mr. Chunk?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
For some,
Yes.
maybe that was just a delay in the sound.
Nope. Totally ready.
Okay.
Ready for the Eagles to win.
You think the Eagles are going to win?
Absolutely.
For some
I'm
reason,
tired of Patrick Mahomes.
people at my work think that they want the Eagles to win, but they don't think it's going to happen. Not sure.
I gotta have confidence. You know, is it possible that the Chiefs could win? Anything's possible, but you know, I'm getting a little sick and tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me.
I have a feeling that if the Eagles lose, I kind of fear a little bit for Taylor Swift because I think the Philly fans might like tar and feather her or something. They might kidnap her and like
some radio stations are like banning their music right now because
yeah, I think
she's siding with the
hopefully
Chiefs.
she has some extra security because it might turn out pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a packed show for you today, so let's get right into the wrestling headlines here. I'd say the biggest headline this week, even though it just happened recently, there were a bunch of WWE releases. And it's always unfortunate when these things happen. But unfortunately, it is a reality of the business. Some people don't seem to understand that. They seem to think that WWE needs to employ people for all eternity. And if they fire somebody, they're the worst company in the world. Things happen, and sometimes we see wrestlers that we really like and their tenure with WWE, and it's unfortunate, but you have to remember that WWE is a business, and they're going to do business things. So the list that I have here, unfortunately, I'm getting it from a rather
I know the
source.
list. I know the list in my head.
We have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They've been fired. I don't even know the last time that they were utilized on TV. Back when
and you know what? They were let go and brought back so many times. Yes. It was ridiculous.
I think that this was at least their second run, or no, this might have been their third run.
The third.
I think it is their third. I believe Carl Anderson might be injured at the time, and I feel extra bad for him because it sucks when you get released while you're injured. Because you're kind of preparing for a comeback, and then all of a sudden that's all derailed.
Yeah, but their biggest contribution to any plot line was when AJ Styles was injured.
See, that's the thing.
The first time last year.
Yeah, the only time that they contributed anything was with AJ Styles. The second they separate AJ from him, they're nothing. They literally offer nothing for WWE, and as you can see. I think WWE realizes that too,
and it's great. Like I realized that they were a group, right? Yes. That they traveled to the Indies together and they worked in NJPW a lot as a trio, right? Yes. But WWE is looking at long term and they're trying to determine, can they separate groups so they could have their own individual character, maybe bring them back again later. But
Yeah, when it
you're
makes
seeing
sense.
that with the New Day and
Yeah,
other teams where
at
they're
this
trying
point,
to
I I I
reestablish them.
I'd have to say, like, if they brought them back down the road, they got to have like a plan for them. Don't just bring them back
Yes.
because hey, these guys are good workers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really
And have a plan
telling.
separate from AJ Styles. They need to
Yes,
be separate from
it's
that.
really telling that they got released, and nothing against them. They got released while WWE is trying to revamp their tag team division on SmackDown. So
Yes.
that kind of tells you they didn't see the value in them, even though they're trying to revamp their tag team division. But maybe that's part of it too. Maybe they have so many new tag teams, fresh talent, and they just didn't weren't able to fit them in anywhere. That could be
Well,
it
I
too.
think they're trying to make headspace to bring in NXT call-ups,
Yes,
right?
that also.
And just like any other company or sports team, right? There's a cap. There's a
Hmm.
certain number of players you're allowed to have, and you can't just run it like a charity.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to make a difficult decision for the greater good of the future of the
yeah.
business.
If all Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson could offer was on air talent, and they don't have a space on air for them, and they aren't doing anything backstage, they're not offering anything else of value to WWE.
Are they
They're gonna
selling merch?
Yeah,
People buying their
they're gonna
merch? I
have
mean,
to get cut.
anything?
They're gonna have to get cut.
Yeah.
So we also have Giovanni Vinci. That's an interesting one. So he was part of Imperium, more so in the NXT era of Imperium, and they did bring him in to be part of Imperium, with Gunther's main roster debut and Ludwig Kaiser, but he was always kind of like the third wheel all the time. And they split him from Imperium. You kind of saw trouble brewing there because, like, I think most fans didn't really see um, him as like a main event talent or even an upper mid card talent. But WWE has surprised us before, so you kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. They tried to repackage him. Um, and to be fair, I don't think they gave him enough of an opportunity to really sink his teeth into the repackage. They kind of gave him one match. It kind of fell flat. Not sure who to blame with that one. And they didn't really give him an opportunity after that. Uh, he had that one match. He got squashed by, who did he lose to? It was a very, very quick match.
Yeah, I forget. It was so long ago. It was like
Yeah,
almost a year ago at this
they
point.
promoted him for weeks. That he was
They
coming
had
up.
vignettes about
Yeah,
him, yeah,
and then
and
he showed
it
up,
fell flat.
lost, and then that wasn't on TV again after that. Um, at that point, like, I probably would have sent him back down to NXT. To be honest, like, if they honestly didn't have anything for him on the main roster. Um, yeah, Giovanni Vinci, I just don't think that they had anything for him, and it's unfortunate because it did look like he was trying to make whatever he could out of whatever they were throwing at him. So that one's unfortunate. Isla Dawn also got released, and I can't. She's somebody that I recognize the name, but I cannot recognize the face. I don't know the last time that she's done anything on TV that I can remember. Was she like in the women's tag team division? Maybe.
Yes, so they were part. She was part of a tag team.
Hmm. Wait,
Ilber Fire was her
were they
tag
the
team
tag
partner.
team champions like earlier last year?
They
Like,
might have been for a very brief
were they the
time. I think
ones
they
that
were.
beat Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for like a couple months, and then they lost it again?
It was less than a couple of months, but
But
yes, I
that was
think you're
them.
right.
Oh
I think it
wow.
was them.
Okay. Well, unless I'm thinking of somebody else, that's
So
odd.
what's weird in this situation is that they didn't get rid of her tag team partner, and they were a tag team. I don't think that they had
Hmm.
places on the roster independent of each other. I
Yeah.
think that they were a package deal, but they only got rid of one of them. So is
So
the
maybe
other one on
they
injury?
see
Is
something in the other one or something.
I don't know. They seemed both the same to me.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Like, I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions
Yeah.
because it's like difficult. Like when you look at things that way and who stays, who goes.
I
Um.
would say the most controversial one on this list was Sonya Deville.
Yes.
I
We were
was
gonna get it. So,
surprised. Yeah.
Isla Dawn, Blair Davenport. another one that I have not seen on TV in a very long time. She might have
She was a
appeared in the
call up
Rumble.
last year.
She might have
She was a
appeared in the
call up.
Royal Rumble, but
Yeah, she was a
um,
call up last year in
mhm.
2024, right? Right after WrestleMania season, they did the
Yeah,
call ups, right? They called her up. We saw her on TV a handful of times, and that was it. There
yeah.
wasn't really
She
a
really,
character to her.
she wasn't. She, I mean, I'm sure she has fans, but she wasn't connecting with the
She
audience.
reminded me of Paige, right? I
Yeah,
think she has that British accent a
dark.
little bit,
Yeah, she
you
wasn't
know. And
connecting
but
with the
then,
audience, though.
yeah, I have to
That's
agree with you
always the
though.
main thing. Can WWE make money off that character? And if they don't see it, then you're pretty much like a fish
And
out of water at that
unfortunately, in
point.
today's day and age, WWE isn't going to have patience, right? And the
Mm-mm.
reason why, you can't blame them. The reason why, the fans don't have patience,
They have too
right?
much talent. They have too much
Yeah.
talent to like just be like, okay, well maybe they'll get
The
better.
fans are not going to wait
Yeah,
6 months for a character to
they got
develop.
too many
You're going to
people.
get about,
Too many people waiting to come up to the main roster, waiting to be on TV.
they want their
They
shot too.
yeah, they
Yeah.
can't just sit around and wait
And then
for
only so much
somebody.
airtime.
Yep. And like you mentioned, Sonya Deville. Um, she is out of this whole list. She's the most surprising because she was on TV almost every week with her group,
Yes.
and in my opinion, she was probably the most notable one of that group
Yes.
because I don't see fans really connecting with Shayna Baszler. I don't see them connecting with Zoe Stark as much. Zoe Stark's a little newer, but Sonya Deville, she had more longevity, in my opinion. She had more of a look. She has been in WWE for, I wouldn't say a decade, but probably getting close. I remember she was part of the Total Divas cast for a little bit.
Yes.
She's been around for a while, and that was kind of surprising. That one might have been like a money thing. That might have been like,
Could have
listen,
been.
not that WWE needs to cut a budget, but they might have been like, listen, this person's getting paid this much, and we don't see that value here. And
Well, the one piece of fallout that I'd be concerned about is the rest of that PFC group.
oh
They
yeah,
might be on borrowed time.
yeah.
Without her, they
Either
might
that,
be on
either
borrowed.
the group's going to split up, which I don't think will be beneficial to either of them.
Correct. I
I
agree.
think I
Yeah.
think like the trio was probably the way to go with them to get them on TV every week. Now I don't see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark being on TV every week. If I had to if I had to pick between one of them, I'd say maybe Zoe Stark would be the one that they try to run with.
Possibly.
Shayna
And
is good in her own right, but I think Zoe Stark has more character value.
I agree.
I think we've seen kind of what Shayna can do. And in my opinion, she kind of does need a mouthpiece, and I thought that's what Sonya Deville could have been.
She lost her way after the Ronda Rousey stuff, right? I thought that
That's the
there was
thing.
some
Like the Ronda
interest with Ronda
Rousey stuff
Rousey, and then
was
that
supposed
fizzled
to
afterwards.
push her to the main event because they tried doing things with her and Becky Lynch, and
Yes.
that didn't really go the way they wanted it to. And then Ronda Rousey pretty much gave her a main event spot on a silver platter, but the fans didn't care. Like she made Ronda
Yeah.
Rousey tap out, whatever. The fans didn't care because they were tired of Ronda Rousey by that point. Now, if they would have had
Yeah.
her tap Ronda Rousey out on her first run, it might be a totally different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of had her beat Ronda Rousey when everyone was tired of Ronda Rousey. So didn't really have the effect that they probably wanted it to. We also had the Authors of Pain along with Paul Ellering. That one I saw coming.
Yep.
That one I saw coming.
Should have happened
Another
a long
another
time
group,
ago.
yeah, another group that they've given a lot of chances to, and they just don't seem to get to the next level. And when I say next level, like they weren't even in contention to be like main event stars. Like they couldn't even. I don't think that they were even equipped to be main roster talent.
Yeah.
They couldn't cut a promo.
I don't see them
That's why
as,
they brought Paul Elroy
yeah.
in.
But why do you need him if you have Karrion Kross, which is supposed to be the
Yeah.
face of that group, right?
And they
Doesn't
just
make any
weren't.
sense.
They just weren't making sense at all.
Where does that leave Karrion Kross in your opinion? Safe or unsafe?
Oh, he's safe. He's on TV every week. He doesn't need
You
them.
know,
He's
I have to
not
agree
even
with
in
you, yeah.
matches right now. He's just kind of doing backstage promos
Yeah.
and stuff. I think really with Karrion Kross, they just need him in Scarlet, and I think that's going to do fine.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
I
kind of
agree.
where they're going with it now. And then last but not least, Cedric Alexander. So, ding, ding, ding. Hey, AEW. Here you go.
Hey, Eric
You can have
Syndicate.
the entire Hurt business now. Congratulations. You guys got
Yeah.
somebody you can snag and have them, we can go all the way back to 2019 all over again. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like a nostalgia trip for you. Tony Khan, open the wallet. There you go.
There is one key difference out of all of this, just in case people weren't aware.
Yeah.
So, all of these, except for Sonya Deville, they're going to be in the 90-day no-compete. Sonya Deville, they're just not renewing their contract because that comes up in like 3 weeks. So
it's not,
org is free to pick her up.
It's not by default. It's a 90-day. Usually a wrestler with a brain, it's a 90-day because it's an option. So when a wrestler gets released, to be honest with you, I've only seen 2 wrestlers that I can remember that have refused the 90-day non-compete and was like, no, I want to work right away. Because WWE gives them an option. They're like, hey, we'll pay you another 90 days, but you cannot work for the competition. But you don't have to accept that. The 2 that I saw didn't accept that was Kurt Angle, if you guys remember when he went to TNA. In 2006. He was like in TNA like 2 weeks after he left WWE. And believe it or not, Malachi Black, he left WWE and was on AEW like the next week. So you got to kind of have a lot of confidence in your ability if you're not going to take a 90-day compete clause and go right to the competition, unless they're paying you a lot of money. But yeah, Sonya Deville, whenever her contract is up, I'm not sure. She's just not getting a extension. But that could change. WWE could change their mind, or maybe they'll renegotiate a different deal. But as of right now, her current contract, WWE is not willing to extend that. And we'll see what happens with her down the road. Something tells me she might step away from wrestling and maybe try acting or something else. Who knows?
Possibility.
Who knows?
Yeah.
She also has an MMA background, so maybe we'll see her in UFC or something. Other than that, Cedric Alexander, I believe, was the last on this list of releases. So, yeah.
And that's just the first round. Usually WWE does this in 2 parts. This
usually
is the
after WrestleMania. It sucks. I'd hate to be on the first round before WrestleMania. I would have at least wanted another WrestleMania paycheck, So that does suck that they did the releases before WrestleMania. But like I said, it is
how many of these people would have actually had a spot on WrestleMania?
Not a lot.
Maybe Sonya Deville.
They would have been part
Everybody
of WrestleMania
else.
weekend, doing the fan fest, the breakfast thing.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I wish them all the best in whatever they choose to do. I think we'll see Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows probably pop up somewhere.
Be back in the Indies. I think that they have a long-standing relationship.
We'll see what happens with Giovanna Vinci and these other guys, the Authors of Pain. We'll see. Paul Ellering, maybe he can just retire, enjoy retirement, sir. Come on now.
Isn't he already a Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah.
Or am I
he used to manage the Legion of Doom, dude.
That's right.
He is old.
Yeah.
He does not need to be doing this. Okay, so after the WWE releases, another thing that happened this week, I couldn't believe it when I read this. Hulk Hogan actually appeared on the Pat McAfee show. This is a couple weeks after Pat McAfee was roasting him about his appearance on Raw. And I got 2 clips of some interesting things he said, and we will play those in a second here. Let me just get this all set up. I have to do this the long way because I updated my Stream Deck, and for some reason buttons on my thing aren't working. Okay. So let's pop that in here. And so this first clip I'm going to play is Hulk Hogan's comments on being booed in LA for the first Raw on Netflix. Let's play this really quick.
You were like,
hate me some more.
We actually ran a press conference the day after. I don't know if you got a chance to see it from the Hulkster, but we have a lot of questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, but the one thing is, I was talking about the beer. We're in a relationship with the WWE. They're my partner in this thing, and I had to be a good guy in LA.
Yes.
Now, if this was for wrestling, and they turned on me like that, I'd have turned into Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I said,
Oh, hell yeah.
so you hate me for everything I've done for all the Make-A-Wish kids and everything I did for your kids. Well, guess what? I did it for the money. and by the way, since you want so much hatred coming your way, I hope you have a good time when Kamala Harris, is your new governor, and you're all standing in the soup line. Mic drop. See you.
Jeez Louise.
But I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I was ready. I was ready to go after him.
Well, I thought it was very professional of you to remain positive because I was listening to it, and you're much more mentally tough than I am. But you've been, obviously, 40 years in the wrestling business. This is kind of your gig. You understand people are going to boo. You understand people are going to cheer. You understand the heartbeat of people, which is why you call it an art form. You want to do what they're telling you to do. Living in a spotlight for 40 years, a lot of things happen. With that being said, we have a lot of questions about a lot of it, and this guy loves real American.
So, I didn't get a clip of it, but Hulk Hogan kind of was insinuating that politics had a lot to do with him being booed. And Pat McAfee did try to challenge him a little bit, and he said, among other things, and Hulk kind of chuckled. And so I guess Hulk Hogan's way of playing with that is saying, oh, people booed me because because of my political stance or whatever. When in reality, I think that might be part of it, but I think people will also boo Hulk Hogan because of some other things that have happened throughout the years regarding Hulk Hogan. So, and then
we don't have a clip of that, do we? No, I'm just kidding.
No. We cannot play that clip. We are not going to play that clip. Here is Hulk Hogan also commenting on the current WWE roster here.
How do you feel about the current state? 70,000 plus for Royal Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium. Netflix deal worth $5 billion being streamed around the world. How do you feel about the current? Are you jaded at all, or are you proud of the business?
I'm so proud of these guys. It's like, you got guys like Seth Rollins, you got like CM Punk, you got like Roman Reigns, you got Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. I can go down the list. All these guys are stars, and they carry their weight. And they don't come up short. I just pray to God they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Because the storylines are so intense. The Usos and just these guys have all stepped up because they work so hard. They work harder than I did. These guys are working their butts off, and I got nothing but respect, and the product is insane. I never dreamed it would get to this level.
Yeah.
I was walking out the other day in L.A., and I was standing on the ramp, and Stephanie McMahon was there, and I said, oh, my gosh, man, things are so cool, and it's just amazing how big it's got. Well, she goes, well, I'm not involved anymore. I said, BS, you're the one that tells him what to do. Triple H,
Yeah.
And I was just teasing with her. She goes, oh, but you're the one that built this thing. You started. I went, oh, well, thank you for saying that. But me and her dad were in the trenches trying to get this thing going.
There's a lot of people that feel that way, though.
So, it's kind of I don't know. They didn't get on some of the touchy subjects with Hulk and some of his controversies, but I thought it was a pretty decent interview. He did mention something about Macho Man. He told some stories about Macho Man. He's claiming that him and Macho Man patched things up before Macho Man passed away. I don't know if that's true. Hulk Hogan kind of has a reputation of telling some fibs and rewriting history a little bit. If that was true, then that's great. But yeah, Hulk Hogan is a very interesting character in the wrestling universe, needless to say.
I'll tell you one thing. His mustache looked taped on pretty well.
There's people that believe that the hair on the sides, like when Hulk Hogan wears this bandana, they think that's actually glued to the bandana. Like he puts it on and the hair is hanging on the sides.
At this
He's
point,
actually
it might
completely bald underneath of there.
He could very well be at this point. We'll never know.
He just finally gave up on trying to have hair.
Maybe the whole bandana is a toupee. It's all taped on.
Yeah.
Or glued on.
Yeah. He doesn't wrestle anymore, so why not have it that way?
Yeah.
So let's go move into the Raw recap. Now, this is the Raw after the Royal Rumble, so we're going to have some Royal Rumble fallout here. The three key points that I have, the first thing I put is Jey Uso's promo kind of showed me they have some work to do to make me believe Jey can be a legit world title contender. So the show opened with Jey Uso cutting a promo, and he was a little emotional. I mean, he's just won the Royal Rumble, so I think it was very heartfelt. He's just not, as of right now, not saying that things can't change, but it's going to take a little bit for me to believe that, okay, this is a main event for WrestleMania. This is something I want to see. And that's assuming that it's going to be him and Gunther at WrestleMania, because I just don't see it making sense for it to be him and Cody.
I would say he turned it around on Friday. So he came out and cut a
Yes.
promo Friday to open SmackDown.
Yes.
And I would say he was his thoughts were much more organized for Jay and the way he normally presents himself.
Absolutely.
I think that the roller coaster of emotion from Royal Rumble wore off, and he was able to present himself much more clear on Friday.
Yeah.
So at first I agreed with you 100% on Monday, but I think he was just so emotionally overwhelmed with the win because he's never been.
Maybe he had a
front and
little
center
more
before.
guidance on Friday. He had some
Yeah.
bullet points to hit, and maybe on Monday they just were like, "Say how you feel," and
Yeah,
he's not that great off script.
it's possible.
I'm gonna leave it up to WWE for them to get a story out of this that will make me invested in the match, because I'm gonna assume that that's gonna be a night 1 or night 2 main event. I'm assuming night 1 because I think night 2. We'll get into that later on SmackDown.
I think it's going to be a great match, physically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is him and Gunther, the story's been told, and then they're just going to retell the same story again.
My fear is, like, if they can't get fans invested in it, they might lose that main event spot, because they got, from what it looks like it might be Roman, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. And that match, in my opinion, does, at least looking at it right now on a sheet of paper, if I were Triple H, that would be a main event. And like Jey Uso and Gunther, as it stands right now, I'd have that like a featured match, but maybe not the main event of night 1 or night 2.
I agree. Maybe where the problem really is Triple H is trying so hard to make every match feel like a main event match because it's WrestleMania, but you can't have every match literally be the main event.
Yeah.
And in
there's got to be some compromise.
We only recently gotten to a point where you could have 2 main events at WrestleMania, and that was only recent. Before it used to be there was only one.
Yep.
Right?
The issue I'm seeing is I can't, because if you're not the main event, a lot of times you want to be the opener. You want to open the show, because you don't. The worst position you could be in was kind of where Sami Zayn and Gunther were last year.
Yes.
Where you're in the middle of the show and the fans are just kind of, some fans are going to get refreshments, some fans are just worn out because they're still expecting a big main event. When you open the
middle of the show is okay. It's the 2 worst places in WrestleMania is the match after the opener and the match before the last match of that evening.
Yeah, but we've seen
those are the hardest ones.
The last can pull it off.
It's hard though.
But like, I can't see WWE opening with a triple threat of Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins.
No,
that's not going to be an opener. So
and they're not going to have both world titles on the same night. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to have to split them up.
Like, as of right now, I am more invested in that triple threat than I am Jey Uso and Gunther. So if I were Triple H, I would, as of right now, I would have that triple threat as the main event of night 1.
Yeah, I agree.
And then maybe have the title match before the main event. I don't think
or
the
opener.
Match, I could see it as an opener.
It's nothing wrong with being an opener. Yeah. It's WrestleMania. Every match at WrestleMania, the crowd will
definitely be hot, but
should be a featured match.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean not being the main event.
My whole thing, and I'm thinking like a booking aspect. If they want this to be Jey Uso's moment in winning the heavyweight title, it would need to be a main event. It would need to be a main event because you have to have that celebration. You have to have that big thing, and they can't.
What if he doesn't win?
If it's that's another thing. Like, there's no guarantee.
I was going to ask you that. What's your? I know it's early prediction. Do you think they're going to pull that trigger?
I mean, I'm always under the belief that WWE likes to do the Walt Disney fairy tales. So they had him lose at Saturday Night's main event to Gunther. A very difficult loss for him. He wins the Royal Rumble. He's overcoming the odds. WrestleMania comes, and that's his Walt Disney moment. That's him winning the title. Confetti coming from the sky, fireworks going off. Jey Uso is now really main event Jey Uso. And I don't think that moment can happen if he opens the show. If they want him to be main event Jey Uso, he has to main event.
My only issue is I'm afraid that if he does win, and I do kind of want him to win a little bit, he might wind up becoming into Cody Rhodes. Everybody wanted Cody Rhodes to win, and as soon as they won, and fans are fickle, unfortunately, they were ready for the next thing. They were like, okay, Cody Rhodes won, go away. It was more like not that they hated Cody.
Line them up with some good opponents. That's one thing I could say. They try with Cody, but it's like since Roman's off the shelf, who was like a viable opponent for Cody? They've managed to get Kevin Owens up there to be a viable opponent, but now they're moved on from that.
Well,
they tried AJ Styles for a little bit.
Because in my opinion, and this goes a little bit back, and some of it you can blame on COVID, but not all of it.
Yeah.
By making Roman Reigns champion for so long, they booked themselves into a corner because it's like they threw every legit competitor at Roman and he knocked them down almost with ease.
And a lot of them don't work for the company anymore.
Yeah. So now you're at a point of like if Cody Rhodes was able to beat him and it took 2 tries to beat him.
Yeah.
Is it going to look weird where Cody Rhodes can lose to all these other people that Roman Reigns easily beat?
Yeah.
You kind of booked yourself into a corner. And
yeah,
it seems with Gunther, they're kind of doing the same a little bit with him.
They had high expectations because if you're going to dethrone Roman, they want it to be like an epic thing. And I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes' reign is bad. I'm glad he still has the title. It's going to bring some legitimacy to WrestleMania when hopefully he faces John Cena. He'll be a viable opponent for John Cena.
Or what they could do is if WWE's long-term plan, and I mean way long-term, is that they're treating the 2 heavyweight championships in general as we're not going to do what we did in the 90s and early 2000s and play hot potato where every 3-4 months was a title switch. If they want to build up the Gunthers and the Codys and the Romans of having a 18-month plus minimum title reign, then maybe do what they do in UFC and don't defend it that often. And I know fans are going to bitch, the crybabies. Well, now these my champions should defend every pay-per-view. Well, you can't have it both ways.
Now, Cody...
You want Cody defend every 3 months.
Yeah, he doesn't. Hasn't defended it on every pay-per-view.
And maybe that's not so bad. It feels
there's been pay-per-views he's been off of completely. He did the tag matches with Roman for a little bit. He's defended it on TV a few times. I think.
Yeah. And don't have him on TV every week.
I don't have many issues with Cody's reign. I mean, I know that some people have issues with it, but I haven't seen too many issues. Missile Kaboom, thank you for coming in. The next key point I had for Raw, I put great match between Kaiser and Penta. I feel both will be future main event stars. I kind of expected that to be a good match though, because they're both Penta. When he first came in, it was kind of like wishy-washy with me because he came from AEW. I wasn't too familiar with him. I think he's adapted well to WWE style, at least in what they showcased with us. They gave him a big showcase in the Royal Rumble. And I liked the match he had with Kaiser. I kind of want that to be a longer feud, though. I hope it's not a one-and-done kind of thing.
It's hard to tell because Pete Dunne's still getting himself involved a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I think, what did they tease
and
Pete
I don't
Dunne,
understand
Pete
with
Dunne
that.
And, Penta? Because that will be a good match, too. They've been matching Penta up with some really good opponents for his size and ability. Him and Pete Dunne will be a great match.
That's a great physical match, but from a storytelling perspective, I think there's more story between him and Kaiser maybe than there is between him and...
That's the issue we're going to run into with Penta is they're putting him in these great matches, but there's no story. There's no story other than if you want to count the Chad Gable trying to get rid of
I was going to say,
So maybe we'll see that happen, but as
or
of right
Penta
now...
versus Dominic Mysterio down the line. That could be a terrific
Rey Mysterio
story.
down the line. I mean, there's a lot of options for him, and we'll see what it looks like at WrestleMania for him. And then the main event, we had CM Punk versus Sami Zayn. So, and this was a contenders match for the Elimination Chamber. So
Yep.
I put for that great match and on par with me, on the same level to me as Punk versus Seth Rollins. I thought that it was that good of a match.
I agree. Yeah.
And then I said that I loved the cliffhanger ending with Kevin Owens, obviously pretty much not just planting a seed, but telling us, okay, this is the direction we're moving for WrestleMania with Kevin Owens.
Yeah. And post Raw, there were some clips online that CM Punk came back in and tried to tend to
Yes.
Sami Zayn a little bit.
Yes.
So they really sold the after effects of that pile driver really well.
And then we kind of got some more clues at what the deal was on SmackDown. We'll get into that in a little bit. But for those that didn't see, Kevin Owens ended up attacking Sami Zayn after the match. And makes me believe that is the direction they're moving in WrestleMania. Will it just be a one-on-one match? We'll have to see. Maybe they'll add some stipulation to it. We've seen Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania have a match before. So I do think that this needs to be a little more pizzazz on it. Maybe make it some sort of grudge match, a hardcore match, a street fight. I don't know if they want to bring a Hell in a Cell to WrestleMania again. They've done it before, though, so anything's possible.
Here's the question for you. Do you think this is the beginning of their feud at WrestleMania, or that's going to be the end of it and they move on to other things post-WrestleMania?
I don't know. I guess it depends.
Because I don't think you begin a feud with Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell caps off the feud, right?
Well,
so if you think that's the end of it...
Yeah, this thing with him and Sami Zayn is they have years and years and years of story with their connection. So
they've been friends, they've been enemies, they've been friends, been enemies.
Yeah, so they could. The first match of this current feud could be Hell in a Cell because people could just be like, "Hey, this is, these."
Yeah, I meant this current feud, not forever and ever.
These people
right?
have a storied history. We need to let's squash it now and have it just be the match of all matches. That's how I would want to do it anyway.
They have to add pizzazz because if they don't, I fear that it's going to wind up feeling like the Jimmy and Jey Uso match at last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There was story there, but it got lost in the middle of the card, and I think fans just didn't have the interest. And they should have. It was a good match. It's just there wasn't enough pizzazz.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I think, would be a good match to open night 2. Just a hot crowd. Just open.
If you're not gonna have, if you're not gonna have shenanigans, or you're not gonna have a stipulation, or you're not gonna have like a special referee or any special element, then I have to agree it has to open night 2.
Yep.
It's the only other way. Because that was the thing with Jimmy and Jay last year. There was no pizzazz. There was no shenanigans. There was no special referee, no stipulation. Just a
they were like
match.
lost in the shuffle with the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I don't know. Just wasn't a good match overall.
But I like this direction of the Kevin Owens character. I really
probably the most invested I've been in Kevin Owens during his WWE career is right now.
And I wonder if this sets up for Sami Zayn a character change in him. I think
could be.
He needs one. I think his character's a little stale. I thought that there was going to be a character change when they had the whole him and Chad Gable and Gunther thing, and I was surprised they turned Chad Gable heel. I thought it was going to be Sami Zayn heel.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't do that.
Probably
so
helped Chad Gable though going heel.
True, he needed it more than Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's a little bit more over with the crowd, but I think Sami Zayn's character is a little one-dimensional right now, and we know he's been a heel before, so we know he can be multi-dimensional. I think they just have to be willing to pull that trigger at WWE to do that.
Yep. So we'll get more into the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens thing and the SmackDown part of the recap here because Kevin Owens did have some things to say. But let's move to some more headlines, and let's do some AEW related headlines here. The first thing I have here is an interview that Mariah May did where she's accusing AEW of holding her back in order to make Mercedes Moné look good. So let me read some excerpts from here.
Dude, I think it's Mercedes money.
Well, they
I'm
pronounce it.
kidding,
I mean,
I'm
I
kidding.
understand. I understand a play on words, but they do
I
pronounce it as
wanted to
Monet.
see what I was going to try to do it seriously and see how long we could do it for. I know it's Monet.
Oh God. Okay, so article reads as this: Mariah May isn't holding back when it comes to AEW's handling of her promo time, or lack thereof. The remaining AEW's Women's World Champion is calling out the company for keeping her away from live crowds, and she thinks she knows exactly why. They're afraid she'll outshine Mercedes Moné. Speaking on casual conversations with the Classic, May addressed her upcoming title events against Tony Storm at Grand Slam Australia. And I think we have official confirmation from Tony Khan now that Grand Slam Australia is not a pay-per-view. It is a televised special, I guess you want to call it.
Excuse me!
What to say about that?
But
it's a whole different problem.
Yeah. But her frustration quickly shifted towards AEW's reluctancy to give her in-ring mic time. Mariah May says, all AEW does is disrespect me and keep me backstage when I'm the best person they have on the microphone. I'm stuck backstage, so fine. Fly me on a 24-hour flight to Australia to gratify a mentally unwell woman. That's fine. Just another win. So, to me, that sounds like she's in character right there. But maybe it's one of those things where she's in character, but she is taking like a little bit of a
shot.
Yeah, just kind of playing around with reality and being in character. May then doubled down on why she believes AEW won't let her shine in front of a live audience. They don't want me out there because I'm going to outshine their golden girl Mercedes, she claimed, making it clear that she sees Mercedes Moné as the reason she's being held back from cutting promos. Despite her frustrations, May emphasizes she's still a company woman and is doing all the media AEW asks of her, but that doesn't mean she's happy about it.
You misquoted for 1 second. She actually said her golden shower girl.
Oh, God.
What
the?
I'm kidding.
What direction was she going in that interview? Maybe she doesn't want to work with AEW anymore. She wants to work on Pornhub or something. Jesus Christ. It's hard for me to like decipher if she's totally in character for that or if she does have some like ill feelings there. I think when you're at like a talent at her level, maybe you do have a little bit of an ego and like you kind of see so something that's important to note here, Mercedes Moné is holding the secondary women's title while Mariah May is the main women's champion. But when you watch AEW, you wouldn't think that. You would think that Mercedes Moné has the more important title and that Mariah May is kind of the second fiddle, which is interesting.
Yeah, but they're doing way more story build with Mariah May and Tony Storm and all that. And Mercedes Moné, you know what? They just throw her in the matches with no build.
Yeah.
Just the other week, she was in a main event on Dynamite, and there was no build to it. It was like 2 weeks ago. And now, they just did it, and it was a great match. But no promotion of that match. It just happened during the show.
And now she's having a feud over a puppet. So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
I wonder if that puppet's on sale. I'd be the first in line to get that.
It looks expensive. It looks like one of those expensive ones.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
yeah, that's Mariah May's gripe with AEW right now. And speaking of gripes with AEW, none other than Seth Rollins actually made comments about AEW in a quick interview that he did. It looked like promoting maybe WWE 2K25 or something. And we actually have video footage of what he said here. So let's check that out really, really quick.
We'll make some headlines with this one. I don't think there's anybody in AEW that's on that
level.
No.
Hold on. Let me, I forgot to actually screen share that. I'm sorry about that. We are professionals here. Or at least we try to be.
What?
Okay.
What?
Oh, let me screen share that really, really quick. Okay, that's better. And let me rewind. Okay, and we'll make that big. We'll make that big.
You know, my grandmother used to have those glasses, by the way.
They almost look like they look like snowboarding glasses or something.
Or like after you get cataracts, old people wear them to like shield their eyes.
All right, let's play this real quick.
We'll make some headlines with this one. I don't think there's anybody in AEW that's on that level.
Ooh, okay.
But I mean, you're probably looking at like if you're looking at a LeBron, you know, I mean that's like a John Cena level guy. So I'd be looking at like a John Cena for you know, an MJF maybe. You know what I mean? That'd be like the deal. Luke would be the MJF. Yeah, that's that level. That's how crazy that is.
So basically, what I believe he's saying there is that he doesn't feel that there's anybody on like a WWE level in AEW except for maybe MJF. And he seemed even reluctant to say that like MJF is on a John Cena level or anything like that.
I mean, he could be one day, but not yet. And I have to agree. I don't think there's anyone on the WWE main event talent
I
level.
don't think there's much value in MJF with him on AEW anymore. I think like MJF kind of missed an opportunity to move to WWE and become like I don't know if he'd be a main event star yet, but he would be on his way there. I think he really missed a big opportunity. Now, especially when he's seeing things that they're doing with like Penta and stuff like that, and Jordan Grace now, like they could have done that whole package with him. They could have brought him in a big way, and he'd be on Netflix right now, or Smackdown, or he could have had a prominent role in the Royal Rumble, and he's sitting there stuck feuding with like Jeff Jarrett, and I don't know. I don't think he made the right decision, but maybe his checkbook is telling him otherwise. Who knows?
Or maybe he's getting to have control.
Could be, but if
maybe
he's
he
in
writes his own
control-
promos. And,
if he's in control of how his story's going, maybe he needs to get himself checked out.
No, I don't mean his story. I mean his promos, right? You know, I think in WWE they might ask him to scale back his
He
promo
wouldn't have
a
as
little
much
bit.
freedom. Definitely not.
You know,
He
and
says
I
things
think
that-
Tony Khan's letting him kind of go, right? They give
Yeah.
him the base story, but they let him cut whatever promo he wants.
Yeah.
I think that he would lose that freedom in WWE, and he likes having that freedom.
Yeah. So let's move on from that into the AEW Dynamite recap. I got a few things that I have as key points to me, and then we'll get your thoughts too. So my first key point is Harley Cameron. I said Harley Cameron with the Monet puppet made me chuckle a little bit. It's kind of lame, it's kind of stupid, but sometimes that's what you get in wrestling. You get these lame, stupid little segments. But Harley Cameron, I think there's something there. I think she is an entertainer. Haven't seen much of her in the ring yet, so I can't really judge her wrestling ability. But for an entertaining aspect, she does make me laugh, and that's something to say, especially with an AEW talent.
How did she get her start? Was she with Jericho's group for a while?
No,
how she
she
kinda
was with. Oh God, what group was that? Because I remember she was with a group, and she said something to the Acclaim back when the Acclaim were together, saying that Bowens wanted her, and then she's like, then Bowens was like, "Bitch, I'm gay" or something like that.
I thought she was part of Jericho's group before they all disbanded with the
Me-
Sammy Guevara.
No,
and-
that
and
was
that group?
what was her name? That was somebody else. That's Jack Perry's girlfriend. What the heck's her name? Not Penelope Ford. Oh God, I forget her name.
For some reason, I thought that was Harley Cameron. I
No,
don't know
that wasn't
why.
Harley Cameron. Ugh,
Okay.
I can't remember these people's names.
Neither
'cause
can I,
None
yeah.
of them stick out to me, man. And I hate always
think
like
that-
I always hate shitting on AEW like this, but it's like I have to be honest. I can't fake it. Like, but the next key point I have, this tells you how invested I was in this show. My next key point: too many talking / interview segments for a 2-hour show. They have just as much talking and interview segments as 3-hour SmackDown and 2.5-hour Raw, and they fit that in a 2-hour program. And the problem is AEW, most of the people there have nothing interesting to say. They literally, like, most of them can't cut a promo. And when they do, they just say fluff pieces for themselves. Like, there's nobody. And I think part of it is the length of the promos, too. It's like these things should be like a quick 2-minute max thing in and out, but they'll give them like a good 10 minutes sometimes to just kind of circle around and just repeat the same things over and over again. How many times do we have to see Jericho with his stupid little tree in the background.
New York Minute? Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really one of the dumbest segments I've seen in a very long time.
It's just really.
And I expect better from him.
Yeah.
I expect a lot more better quality from his talent.
He's just collecting a paycheck.
He's phoning it in. I agree.
There's nothing like. I guarantee you, if WWE, if his contract was coming up, WWE made him offer. Listen, Jericho, we want you to do a retirement run. He would get his ass in shape, and he would take it seriously, and he would do a retirement one, get his Hall of Fame, and call it a fucking career. But he's having too much fun being a goof, getting paid a lot of money to be a goof in AEW.
Not being in shape, you know.
Yeah.
His flapjacks are flapping more than the pancakes at IHOP at this point.
AEW lets him go be a rock star with Fozzy, lets him do the Jericho Cruise. Yeah. You know, he's having too much fun.
At least we saw the Ass Boys.
Oh God. Yeah, well, yeah.
That was a highlight. That was a highlight.
God, damn. I would have rather seen Samoa Joe's ass than the Ass Boys, dude. The last thing I put as a note here, Toni Storm, she just came back as her character, and she's already too goofy for me. Coming out dressed as
this is too confusing. So Toni Storm So Toni Storm came back as her old self.
Yeah, she came back,
but not her old self.
Yeah,
rookie Toni Storm when she was secretly timeless all along.
Yes, because
now she's acting as fake timeless, being Mariah May.
It's so
it's
stupid.
Too yes,
it's so stupid. Like, I don't know.
I think they're changing it every couple of weeks based on how the fans respond. I think that there's no.
They just want to parade her out there in like some skimpy outfit so that all the nerds can be like, "She's one of us. I have a chance with Toni Storm. Look at her." You know, it's so dumb. There's a reason why WWE was kind of scripting her when she was in WWE. And listen, you had a good thing with the timeless Toni Storm. The only problem is they ran it about 6 months longer than it should have been ran.
Yes, because it's a gimmick. Yeah. There's a difference between being a character that is an extension of yourself versus a gimmick. And gimmicks have a shelf life, especially today. And people are going to argue, you know, The Undertaker. Yeah, but try creating The Undertaker.
He evolved over time.
He did evolve a little bit.
He changed it up, and then he went back to the old way.
Fair enough, but what I'm trying to say is, imagine trying to create The Undertaker from scratch today. It wouldn't go over very well.
I don't think it would work.
He gets the free pass because he was from an era from 30, 40 years ago.
They had cartoon characters back then.
Right, so people are nostalgia to that, and they're getting the free pass. But something like the timeless Toni Storm, that has a limited shelf life. Just like, and I know I'm going to probably get hated for saying this, just like the Wyatt family. A gimmick. It has a shelf life.
Listen, it's
not a bad gimmick.
Yeah,
but it has a shelf life. It's strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened with Bray Wyatt. You don't want to see anything like that happen to anybody. And the proof is in the pudding. They're trying to do a Wyatt thing now, and it's just not connecting. Yes, people get excited because they like something different. They like.
Here's the thing, they waited too long.
Yeah.
They waited too long, and when they finally brought the new group back, they stretched it out too much.
Yeah.
So now it's lost its luster.
And it doesn't...
If they
didn't really
they
have
brought
luster,
it back sooner.
Though. They didn't have
They could have.
They
could have done it. They could have done it in a way.
It's a group filled with jobbers, job talent, like Bo Dallas, whatever the other... I don't even remember all their names. But
Joey Casey?
It's a bunch of wrestlers that... could never make it on the main roster.
But they could have packaged it differently. Look at how the Shield. They had the original Shield, right? Yeah. You package it right, and you deliver it right, it could have had something. They could have had a spark. Except they drew it out too long. The return, I mean. Yeah. The Bo Dallas version, they drew it out, and every week was a tiny bit, and a tiny bit, and a tiny bit, and I lost patience.
Fans liked playing along with the little mysteries and stuff, but then... It's the ultimate warrior effect.
But again, it took too long.
Yeah. Well, no, they liked playing along with that stuff. Maybe you didn't, but the fans...
To a point, I wanted some substance.
The problem that happened was they stopped playing the little Bill Nye the Science Guy games, and they actually had to wrestle. That's where the problem
that's
happened.
The point. That's the point.
It's the ultimate warrior effect. Everyone loved his entrance. They loved the music. Once he got into the ring and once the bell rung, People didn't like the Ultimate Warrior anymore.
I agree, but it's World Wrestling Entertainment, so
Yes.
they have to perform at some point,
And-
or else it's lost on me.
And I don't care if people will hate me for saying it. I felt the same way about Bray Wyatt. He had all the
I did too.
spookiness, the music, the lantern, blowing out the lantern, all the weird stuff. The second the bell rang, he did not have a Hall of Fame career. He has a Hall of Fame career because he was an important character in WWE, and he had unfortunately his time was ended shortly. But if you're judging his in-ring work, I don't think he had a Hall of Fame career regarding his in-ring work.
Not him himself.
I can't name you one good Bray Wyatt match.
I mean,
ever.
they had a better cohesiveness when it was the original Wyatt family, you know.
Yes.
And God rest Luke Harper's soul, right? In that
Yeah.
he was probably the
But
standout member of
the
that
thing
group.
is,
from the wrestling capability.
Harper, and I forget the other guy's name, when they were the Bludgeon
Eric Rowan.
Brothers, when they
Yeah.
separated from the Wyatt and were the Bludgeon Brothers or whatever, I liked that tag team a lot more than the Wyatts. I liked them better when they were
I
that
looked a
tag
little
team.
bit, yeah.
I see the value in it though. I see what fans like about the Wyatt Six and the Wyatts. I like people like that, the horror movie type element to it.
Or maybe only bring it back at Halloween season. Like have it be
Maybe.
a seasonal segment, and
It's
that's it.
just, and
But if
now,
you can't have talent that can perform,
unfortunately, I don't think it's going anywhere because now they have Alexa Bliss, and she's probably gonna maybe they could change it around and have her like leading the pack, and maybe it'll be somewhat interesting then. But
don't get me to Alexa Bliss stuff. We'll touch that on SmackDown, but I have a nitpick there. I'm a little annoyed with something on that.
yeah, it's just it's too much, and I don't know how we got to talking about the Wyatts when we were talking about Tony Storm, but back to Tony Storm. Too goofy for me. He's a good wrestler. I just can't stand the goofiness.
Yep.
Speaking of goofiness, though, I think it's time we switch it over to Mr. Chonk's toy chest. I put it on Twitter that the Mr. Chonk's toy chest would be returning tonight or today in for the February. And Mr. Chonk, do you have a couple things to show us for the toy chest? Let me.
I do.
switch
I have
over.
3 things.
Okay.
One of them is gonna. It could be a complete disaster, but we'll see.
Okay. Well,
Because my thing with the toy chest is I like to unbox the thing and not just show it already opened.
All right,
So
well,
one thing-
Let's see what you got.
I picked this up the other day.
Okay.
So this is the
Ooh,
box.
Ric Flair?
They did a commemorative box for the
Oh,
WWE
okay.
2K19.
Yeah, I had that one. I have
And it
that. I
came-
have that same set.
And it came with.
Does that actually include everything that it came
It does
with?
not have the game. It does
no,
not have the game.
So the thing is with that set, this is back when 2K decided, you know what, we're not going to do physical. We're not going to include the physical game with the collector's editions anymore. So it's like you had to buy the game digitally.
Yes. But I do have the Funko Pop.
See, now I'm an
Yes.
idiot, and I believe I actually opened it.
I will not open it.
I should have kept the box.
Well,
It's gonna-
actually, you know what?
It'll be worth more box. Than
I
it will
can
be
sort of open it. I can sort of
open.
open it.
Well,
It's in a protective case.
okay.
I'm opening. It's in a plastic case.
Yeah.
Inside. So now I'm not opening the actual Funko Pop.
Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be, I don't know how many were made, but that's exclusive to that collector's edition.
Yes.
And yeah, that's an exclusive Funko Pop. You can only get it in that collector's edition. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I do know some of the other stuff that was in there. I'm interested to see what your version of one of the items is, because I know what mine looked like. So let's see the other portions of that.
Well, I had to buy this used, so that's all that was in here.
Oh,
was
really?
that
Just a Funko Pop?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that set actually came with, also it came with a replica Hall of Fame ring, which is the only time that
Really?
was available. Yeah, maybe next time I'll get that and show everybody.
I don't think it's in. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it in here. There's
Yeah,
like a piece
it
of
did
cardboard.
come with a
that's
Hall of
empty.
Fame ring, and then it came with a piece of a Ric Flair robe.
Wow,
And,
really? Okay.
yeah. And mine actually, I was fortunate enough that the piece of rope that I got actually had like a sequence on it, which is kind of cool. I got a pink robe with mine.
Okay.
I don't think it came with any Ric Flair autograph though, which is odd. But it did come with.
I mean, the inside of it is sort of autographed, like the
yeah, it's not a
top
real.
of it.
Yeah, it's not a real autograph.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that actually did come with some other stuff. It's cool you got the Funko Pop though, because that will be worth money in the future. Yeah, it came with a couple more things. I used to love getting those collector's editions. I wish, like, video game companies, they don't really do physical collector's editions anymore, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And WWE's I always got excited for because it always came with, like, I think I got you for Christmas back in the 360 days. I think I got you like an Attitude Era collector's edition. It came with a Stone Cold autograph or something.
I might have that somewhere. I'd have to see.
It was like a 360 game. It was, I forget what one.
I don't have the game. I'm almost positive.
Oh no, I don't have the game either, but I have the Stone Cold autograph still. What else you got?
So here's the second item.
Mhm.
So this is WWE trivia set.
Okay, I think I have that same trivia set in my.
And I've
garage
never
somewhere.
played it. I've never played it.
Yeah, I have to remember that's like mid 90s probably.
Yeah.
Too, so all the
yeah.
trivia is probably like 1996 or something.
I mean, if I even look at any of these cards.
Say one of the
God.
questions and let's see if either of us.
That's
know.
what I'm gonna do.
Unless don't, if it has the answer on it, try to hide the answer so you don't. See
Yeah.
Let's see
All
if
right.
we
I'll
can-
try to do maybe an easy one. At
Okay.
the 1995 King of the Ring, the Roadie's first round opponent was
Jeff
Bob
Jarrett.
Holly. Not one of the options.
Okay, what was it? What
Bob Holly, Undertaker, or Shawn Michaels.
Out of those options, I'd say Bob Holly.
Bob Holly. All right.
Okay.
It was Bob Holly.
Yeah. I thought that was like the start of the Roadie's feud with Jeff Jarrett, because the Roadie was Jeff Jarrett's Roadie, but then it got revealed that the Roadie was actually singing Jeff Jarrett's song. Maybe someday we'll do like a retro episode. We'll talk about retro wrestling, but don't ask me how I even remember this kind of stuff, but I do.
So it sounds like
Very
this
weird.
maybe only goes back to as far as like 94.
So yeah, maybe it's just like as of that time, maybe it was more recent trivia. That's odd.
I'm not seeing any questions from beyond. I'm sampling some here.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really goes beyond. Oh, 95.
Okay. So this is
96, one of these.
Like okay.
96.
So this is like a 96 through a couple different years.
Bret Hart's, here's another one. Bret Hart's opponent at the 1996 Royal Rumble was Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, or Diesel.
I want to say Shawn Michaels, but my head is telling me The Undertaker.
I'm gonna think The Undertaker as well,
Mhm.
and the answer is The Undertaker.
Okay.
The Undertaker.
Because during that time, there was a lot of matches between Shawn Michaels and Bret, Undertaker and Bret, and then eventually they like had a triple threat. I think Shawn Michaels is like I wish it would tell you if that was the match that Shawn Michaels is actually the special guest referee between Bret Hart and The Undertaker.
It didn't
'Cause
elaborate.
That might have been it. Maybe not though. I don't. I'm trying to think of like when Survivor Series '97 came about. But I do remember that whole feud where those three were always intermixed with each other for a
Yes.
while there. And then you said you have one more thing to show?
Yeah, and I don't know how I'm gonna open this.
Okay.
So my goal with these toys is to open it without completely destroying the packaging.
Sure. Yep.
So it is.
heck
There was a
is
line
this?
of these Wrecking Crew
Oh my God,
trucks,
dude.
and this is a big
Is that
E version
oh,
of that.
God.
It wasn't even that
It
expensive.
looks
it was
like a
20
four
bucks.
wheeler.
It is,
Oh.
and it's designed to like break apart. So I've not
Oh,
opened this.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a breakaway model.
Open it up
right?
and play with it right now. No.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Are
Actually,
you,
that's
are you
exactly what I'm
gonna
gonna
make
do.
it break apart and everything?
You're gonna have to like keep me honest on time here if I'm going a little over.
Good.
And I apologize. It's hard to show me opening it. On
Oh yeah, you want to
camera.
open the box carefully.
Yes, I do not want to
Hopefully
break
there's
it all
not too many
completely.
twisty ties.
I removed some of them.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe you should have removed.
So
some.
now I'm at the point where it is completely taped.
Oh,
on the back.
God. Wow. Well, at least
That's
they
actually-
secured the packaging, right?
Well, it's good. So let me see what I can do here.
He's getting his Biggie toy four-wheeler out.
I have some scissors, and I'm going to be a little bit surgical.
Oh. I thought when you said I had some scissors, it was going to be an acclaimed joke.
No. So I'm cutting open some of the flaps.
Okay.
There's these flaps that release the rest of the packaging, and I'm kind of cutting.
I know
open.
that. I know you're an expert on those flaps, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta, untape these mud flaps.
Oh, jeez. The Biggie mud flaps. He's going to ride that four-wheeler over. Oh, man.
All right, let's see if I got anything looking here. Okay, there's that.
So I did catch a little bit of what was it, AEW Collision last night, and I saw Mariah May challenge this wrestler that she looked remarkably like Toni Storm. So now they have like impersonators getting in there too. She looked a lot like Toni Storm. It had me fooled for a second that it was actually Toni Storm, but it wasn't.
You know what? I mean, they could do that as part of a storyline.
Yeah. And then what do we got? We got like 2 or 3 weeks until the Elimination Chamber.
It's March 1st.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, CM Punk beating Sami Zayn, that got him into the Elimination Chamber. So that'll be interesting because that's a chance for him and Cena to kind of have a showdown with each other.
Okay.
Because Cena's already automatically in there.
That one. 2 more to go.
Elimination Chamber is always like a fun match to watch. We got to go to one live Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
It was right before COVID.
Yeah. My issue, though, recently is it's a little too close to the Royal Rumble because the Elimination Chamber kind of has that Royal Rumble aspect to it where you don't really know who's coming in next and they have a countdown and a buzzer. I think they're a little too familiar. I think the Elimination Chamber would fit more like later on in the summer and maybe the show before.
I agree, but it's because they have 2 championship matches, right?
Yeah.
They need a way for both of them to have some intrigue, right? So the Royal Rumble gets you one, and the Elimination Chamber gets you the other.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of that. I think I got this kind of open. Packed in very tight.
Of course. You're probably going to have trouble getting that put back together.
Well, that's for not during this podcast, so.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're going to extend the podcast so we can watch you put it
Really?
back together, too. No.
Jeez.
No, we're not going to do that. I see you got the Funko Pop, the 3-pack Funko Pops back there. I have that same one of Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and the Stone Cold.
Yep. I almost bought one the other day, just as a complete joke. I almost bought a 2-pack of Enzo More and Big Cass.
Jesus, dude.
Don't make
I
me
guess
do
there's
it.
Nostalgia value to it, I guess. Dude, don't make me. I'm thinking about buying that WCW Nitro cologne that I saw on eBay. Complete in package. I might get it.
Oh,
and I
God.
might wear it like for WrestleMania. Who wants to know what
All right.
WCW Nitro cologne smells like?
So here it is,
Oh, Jesus.
unpackaged.
Big E, he's really riding that
So
thing.
now,
Jesus Christ.
oh yeah, you like that, don't you?
He's looking really entertained riding that.
So now let's see what happens.
You gonna have him crash or
I don't know how
is
this
he like
actually works.
is his hands attached to it or can he actually come off of there?
I think. Oh, well, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's like maybe he's actually attached to it. He's like a crash test dummy.
I don't know.
I would assume he could probably get his hands off the handlebars and or maybe if they
Yeah,
really...
you can. There's a little
Okay.
bit. There's like a little twisty on there.
Okay, but
so I think you can.
That's good. He's not stuck on the four-wheeler.
No, because it's designed to come apart.
Yep.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, okay, I got him off of there.
Nice. All right, let's see this thing in action here, or as best as you can show it.
Wait, I'm trying to experiment with it. How does it break apart?
I
did not read the directions. That would
I
be
would
the
assume
other
there's
part of the
maybe
problem.
something like a little button in the front that would make it kind of collapse.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I would think the same thing as well, but I don't want to actually like break it by accident.
Yeah, maybe just
I do see this part comes.
that
it
part
flips like
falls
that.
back. Okay, maybe it's just like they're loosely held together so that they just kind of fall back on impact or something.
Yeah, I'm not seeing how that would. I don't know. There
Maybe
are directions.
Maybe try to gently or not so gently, like push it into your hand and see if it like tries to collapse within itself.
Okay, this is weird because the instructions say that
They're
to
all
set
in
it up,
French. No.
and it's already set up. The directions say it should come all apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly what.
So is it like flat when it's supposed, like when it actually
I don't know.
collapses? Is it like completely flat?
I have no idea. It's like the strangest thing. Oh, okay, dude. It does claim that if I slam and smash it, that the pieces come apart.
Interesting. So like I said, maybe just try to gently or somewhat aggressively like have it hit your hand and see if it tries to fall over or fall apart or anything. Nothing? What about the front? Like just have like a head-on collision with your palm.
Oh, that came off.
Oh.
The front bumper came off.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe it's just like loosely held together and then like things just kind of come off.
That is
interesting
weird.
that WWE would make something like that.
Oh, that came out. The middle engine part came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So some pieces come off.
Nice.
Oh boy. That came off. So it's just a little extra tight, you know?
Oh, okay.
And you know what they say, if it ain't tight, it ain't right.
Yep.
So
He's gotta puke! He's gotta puke!
and now I have to put this back together at some later point.
There you go. So the tight pieces stay tight, and you're gonna put it all back together. Okay, so that is it for the Mr. Chunks toy chest for the month of February. We'll be back in March with some more interesting stuff. Like if you take a close look in the back there, you can actually see some of the possible future. Well, no, you actually showed the ramen last show, I think. Like quickly.
I did. I mean, there's nothing demoable.
We gotta convince Mr. Chunk to actually eat the ramen on the stream. Sometime.
Well, I think we have to wait for like 5 years and then I eat it.
Yeah, wait till it's completely expired.
Yeah. I don't even think there is expiration. It's dried good.
Yeah.
Maybe if somebody wanted to like donate to our podcast and I'd eat it with like for the right price, chocolate milk.
We'll definitely have to
strawberry milk.
We'll have to think of something. Like for WrestleMania, we'll do like a big WrestleMania show, and we'll have some sort of goal for us to reach, and we'll have to do something crazy. You eat.
If crazy would be, I like spicy food, but asking me to eat that instead of with water with strawberry milk.
Yeah, that'd be a little nasty.
That would be tough.
And I'll have to eat like bugs again or something. Or
I'd have to eat it in one sitting. Not throw it up.
What would it take for you?
And not go to the bathroom for 1 hour. That would be the stipulation.
What would it take for you to drink a raw egg? Because that would be something I'd consider doing. If we both just did a raw egg.
Raw egg.
Because people do that.
I would do it.
People actually do it, so it's not like something that could kill you.
For workout videos or hair of the dog, right? I don't know if that actually works for hair of the dog.
So maybe we'll do a donation goal at some point where if we reach it, we both have to chug a raw egg. Yolk and everything. From a chicken? Or from another animal that lays eggs? I would assume chicken, but if you want to get a quail egg or something, or a goose egg, like that's all ostrich egg, that's all, or a dude egg, that's all for whatever you want to pick, dude. I was thinking just a regular egg from the grocery store. Okay. All right. Now that we're talking,
we're gonna have to reach a lot of donations given egg prices.
yeah, we got to cover
my bank account for that.
Cost of the material there. Let's move into the Smackdown recap before we get too excited here. Oh, that was so bad. That was really bad, actually. Okay, so SmackDown
What?
recap.
What?
Okay, Stone Cold. The key points that I actually put 4 key points here for SmackDown. The first thing that I put down as notes was it seems the Drew McIntyre LA Knight heat may be real, with LA Knight alluding to it in his promo. LA Knight made a comment saying, I got to get my stuff in during the promo, which was what Drew McIntyre kind of had heat with LA Knight about in the Royal Rumble, that he was, instead of paying attention to what was going on in the Royal Rumble, he was too busy trying to get his moves in or something like that. So that was the first thing that I had of note. The next thing I had was Alexa Bliss moving on to the Elimination Chamber surprised me a little bit. It seems like they're just pushing her right into like a main event women's scene right away, which I thought maybe they would have been more reluctant to do that with her, but it looks like they're moving in that direction. And the third key point that I put a strong promo by Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte. I'm still hoping that they have. I'm still hoping that is where Charlotte chooses to use her Royal Rumble title match. I liked the promo. I liked Nia Jax coming out, interjecting herself, and then they got some time to, what was it, next week, I think, on SmackDown, they're going to have a title match. Nia Jax and Tiffany. I would have thought they would have saved that for Elimination Chamber, but Nia Jax and Tiffany next week on SmackDown. They'll be a good main event, I think. And then the fourth key point that I had was that it looks like Cody has transitioned into a mini feud with Solo to get through Elimination Chamber. I'm not very excited about that.
I agree with you
done
there.
with the Solo stuff.
I thought he was going to be off of TV for longer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping maybe it moves into something else. Maybe Solo and Jacob Fatu will have some issue or something. That's where I personally would like to see things go. I'd like to see maybe Jacob Fatu have a story arc where he's more of a baby face. Because it seems
I think the only way you can do that is he's got to get rid of Tama Tonga.
Yeah, get rid of the Tonka trucks and
yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they could somehow separate Jacob from the bloodline, that'd be probably the way to go, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what happens. Because something immediately tells me the Solo Cody thing, that's going to be a very, very short feud, and something else is going to have to happen to separate them. And I think maybe there'll be some dissension in the new bloodline a little bit. Because I don't think Roman's going to be coming and getting involved with them again. I think it's going to be from within, and I think it's going to be Jacob Fatu. So that is something to look forward to. What key points did you have from SmackDown? Anything that we're missing here?
I had the same thoughts. I know we touched on Jey Uso earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his promo was way better, way more polished on SmackDown.
Yes.
The only thing, and I'm gonna nitpick a bunch of stuff from WWE. But, I know they're trying to tease that Jey Uso has a choice. Mm-hmm. But does he really?
Yeah.
Is there any realm at all in which he would choose Cody and not Gunther?
Storyline-wise, it doesn't make sense. He has a history with Gunther. He has something to prove with Gunther. All signs are pointing to Gunther. In my opinion, they should have just announced that match on Monday Night Raw and just started. They
like to do the tease. I mean, maybe with
it feels like wasted TV time. Even with Charlotte, it's like
I was going to say the same thing.
You know what the fans want to see. Let's just get there and start the feud. Let's not do this teasing where you're showing up on which side she going to pick. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
we already know what's going to happen there. At least we hope. Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of it. I think Jey Uso will have his decision made a lot quicker than Charlotte. I think they're trying to push the Charlotte one for a little longer. I think we might have a decision from Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw.
We might.
We'll see. Actually, did they? I think Charlotte might have alluded that on Raw she was going to decide who she was, because I think she said that, oh, I'm going to see who inspires me at NXT and on SmackDown. And then I think on Raw, she said that she was going to decide. So maybe we have that to look forward to. I don't know. Maybe I'm mishearing things there.
My biggest nitpick of the night was Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And I actually am annoyed not at her, but at WWE's decision.
Mm-hmm.
So they do the whole promo in the ring with Charlotte.
Yep.
It bleeds into Alexa Bliss's actual match, right? Yep. So Alexa Bliss comes out almost like she's interrupting the promo. And then she just has her match. No
match.
words. Yes. No words with anyone.
We haven't heard her speak yet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
either
adding mystery to her character, I guess.
Either the mystery was intentional, or they lost something there where she could have said something, or had a stare down. If she had a stare down with any of the women in the ring, they didn't air it on television. I didn't see it. She came out, it went to commercial, the ring emptied, she had her match. But there was overlap. It wasn't like the ring emptied, a WWE like commercial for their shit, and then Alexa came out. She came out basically at the tail end of the promo. The women were in the ring, so you thought there was going to be some conflict or tension, and nothing. No stare down, no allusion to anything. It made no sense. And I don't blame Alexa. She's doing what she's told.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I see happening is eventually it's going to be revealed that she's in cahoots with the Wyatt Six.
Of course, her jacket and all reveals it, yes.
Unfortunately, I think that's the direction they're going. They're making her a little mysterious right now, but then eventually the lights are going to go out, they'll flicker, and then the goof troop Wyatt Six will be there with her. Nikki Cross maybe hanging on her ass or something.
So here's what I'm worried about. I think what I'm worried about is that that's going to help the Wyatts a little bit, but it's going to hurt her career. It's going to hurt her return in order to kind of
at the end
step
of the day,
back
yeah,
to help the Wyatts.
At the end of the day, I think it will be a demotion for her, honestly.
Yeah, in a way it is.
I think the fans are ready for the old Alexa Bliss. Like,
yes.
I think we're done with even just like the crossover between her evil and the old Alexa Bliss. We're ready for the old Alexa Bliss. Even if the character was a little, I wouldn't say it was a little like Tiffany Stratton.
Like Liv Morgan. Morgan's character and Alexa Bliss's original
even
are
if it's
basically the same.
Yeah, if it kind of seems like a different character, she's still a veteran, you know? So there's a lot of matchups we haven't seen Alexa Bliss have with talent. And
or if they're gonna do the way the Bray Wyatt 6 thing, right? Mm-hmm. Have it be short and have her have the same existential crisis she did at the prior time where she was torn between the characters. Bring that back and have her be part of Wyatt 6 for brief and then separate again.
Yeah,
I don't want to see a long-term.
I think that
9
it benefits
month,
them because
thing.
She has a legit connection with Bray Wyatt, which none of the other Wyatt Six does, other than Rowan, other than Redbeard.
But then use that time to elevate the Wyatt Six.
Yeah. If
they bring back the Wyatt Six, and they do a slow burn again, I'm gonna get frustrated.
Yeah, I think
bring it back, strike while the iron's hot, set something up, and accelerate the storyline.
Have her hit her head and have amnesia and turn back into regular.
Look, I get that they're trying to recreate the same magic they had with the Bloodline and draw out a fucking 3-year storyline.
No, not with these people.
But that's not going to work with these
people. No.
You got 3 months to tell something, and if it doesn't work, then it's done.
Yeah.
Now you can tell something and have Alexa Bliss move on. And then if that has staying power, evolve the Wyatt 6 to the next chapter. Yeah. But don't draw out the current chapter so long and have vignette after vignette after vignette.
It's going to really hurt her career if she hangs on to this too long when it's
for too long.
WWE's going to have to make a decision. Like, when this isn't working, they're going to have her split from it. They have to. Or
like, what's her WrestleMania story? Is it with the Wyatt 6?
Unfortunately, I think it is. I think it's going to be some dark thing with Wyatt 6. I think.
So she's going to lose the Elimination Chamber through some shenanigans with the Wyatt 6?
Yeah, I don't see her winning. No way.
No, neither do I. No way.
So I'm going to assume that Elimination Chamber is going to be for the match with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. And if I were the booker, it makes no sense right now, but I would have Jordan Grace win that match. That's the match I want to see.
Yes.
I know that there's a lot of these obsessed fans that want Io Sky to win. I'm not interested in Io Sky Rhea Ripley match. That doesn't interest me at all.
No, it doesn't interest me
It
either.
seems like kind of like a nothing burger to me. It seems like I don't think they would mesh that well. I'd be interested to see a Becky Lynch return, and if they want to go and redo Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, I'd be down for seeing that again.
Honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this. They have a good influx of women talent right now. They have the Jordynne Grace. Roxanne Perez is at the verge of coming up to the main roster permanently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they necessarily need Becky Lynch right now.
No, I don't think.
I think they could use her.
I wouldn't be opposed to.
But I think having her right now
yeah,
actually distracts too many things.
a little bit.
I think they need to use right now to get Roxanne Perez on the brand, have her engaged, get Jordynne Grace on the brand, have her engaged, and once all that is settled and the fans are used to seeing them, you want to do a SummerSlam program with Becky Lynch? Great.
Yeah.
I think they need to wait a couple months, post WrestleMania, before SummerSlam. If she's ready to come back, do it.
Yeah.
Is she even ready? Is she even? That's like another thing.
Know.
Like,
we don't know. I'd really like.
Is she
to
retired?
I mean, I guess
From wrestling,
we haven't heard her signing a new contract, so I guess technically, she's not under contract with anybody.
But do you think that she's evaluating that maybe she just has other projects and
no? So here's the thing with Becky Lynch: she's not signed to a contract as far as we know, but she did do promotional work for Netflix, the Raw on Netflix. So that tells me she is tied with the company, and she is committed to WWE. It's hard to the Rhea Ripley, her place on WrestleMania, because obviously she's going to have a place on WrestleMania. That's up in the air. I want to see Jordynne Grace, but there's nothing really indicating that's the direction they're going. I don't want to see her and Liv Morgan again. As much as Liv Morgan fans want to cry. No. That feud is done. We're done with it.
I'm with Liv Morgan, but I think the best thing for Liv Morgan is she's a main event talent. We know that, okay? She needs to use her time now to prop up Raquel Rodriguez. And the easiest and best way to do that is tag team
titles. Yeah.
Yes.
So now that I'm thinking more about it, and I hate that I'm thinking this, fucking Bayley moved the Raw recently.
Bayley versus Rhea?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's happened before. Not
that I'm
state.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And I know WWE, they're obsessed with Bayley because she's a merch seller. She has a fan base.
Look, I don't have an issue with that, but Rhea needs to win that match.
Oh, God, yeah.
Hands down.
God, yeah.
It makes Rhea lose credibility.
I'd much rather see her Becky Lynch, but if they don't have any other options, if they don't think Jordynne Grace is ready, then I guess Bayley and her would be okay.
Because I have news for people with WrestleMania. I know WrestleMania is all about big moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a guarantee that every title has to change hands at WrestleMania.
Mm-mm.
Just because it's WrestleMania doesn't mean everyone gets their fairy tale ending story. Yep. Some will.
I like WrestleManias where they have surprises. I like WrestleManias where the bad guy wins. Back in the day, it used to always be a given that they were going to have a fairy tale ending at the end. That didn't change until I think WrestleMania 2000 was the first time that a heel won the main event and fans went home upset. And I like that. I like how it's unpredictable.
Yes.
And
I'd say recently, though, it's lost that unpredictability a little bit.
I mean, the whole
with the main event,
the being Roman thing, like, what was it? WrestleMania in Hollywood in 2023. I thought Cody was going to win it that year, and they didn't. They had.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
They have surprised us before.
Yeah,
a few times recently. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we kind of gave our predictions for the upcoming weeks. We're building up for WrestleMania Elimination Chamber. We still don't know all the participants in Elimination Chamber yet. We have CM Punk in the men's Elimination Chamber with John Cena. We have Alexa Bliss with, wasn't there another one that entered in there? Maybe I might be wrong. For some reason, I keep thinking.
But Chelsea Green has a match coming up.
Contender match?
To potential. Yeah.
Interesting. Yes. Unfortunately, as much as I like Chelsea Green, I do not see her having a title match at WrestleMania other than her own title. Maybe that. But yeah. So this week, I think we're going to have some more qualification matches for the Elimination Chamber. CM Punk being in there with Cena is interesting to me. I'm interested to see who else is going to be in that Elimination Chamber. Will they put Rollins in there? Will somehow Roman get in there? You don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Because
will Kevin Owens get in there? You never know.
Because here, I still stick by my prediction, and I still think John Cena is going to lose the Elimination Chamber.
No.
Bold prediction.
No. Not happening. Logan Paul.
Yep.
Logan Paul might get into the Elimination Chamber.
I still stick by John Cena is the final two, and he loses and gets pinned by somebody at Elimination Chamber. It'll be very close.
I'd be
very close.
I'd be very upset.
Very close. And John Cena will have a WrestleMania match. It just won't be a title match.
Oh, no. He's going to have a title match, and it's going to be a main event. Main event, one of the nights. I think night 2, but... I think John's not only I will make this prediction and I will not change from this prediction unless I have to change it because he loses at Elimination Chamber. But I think John Cena will main event night 2 of WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes and he will win. He will win the belt. Night 2 main event Cody Rhodes. I think possibly he'll do an underhanded tactic on winning that match. I think we might see Cena turn heel. But I think WrestleMania will close with Cena holding up the belt for his 17th title reign.
I think if that prediction comes true, and we didn't touch on this rumor, by the way, right? There's a rumor that they're creating a special premium live event for John Cena's last televised appearance this year.
Could be. That will be in December.
And if your prediction's correct, then my assumption is that he's going to hold on to the title to the remainder of the year.
That'd be interesting. I'm not going to predict how long he holds onto the title. I do think that he'll have.
I think it would be weird otherwise.
Summer,
I think it would be weird otherwise. I think if he's going to win it at WrestleMania, and this is his last hurrah, it's going to be until the end of the year, and he loses it as his last match. Otherwise, who's going to care? If he wins it at WrestleMania and he loses it at Money in the Bank, people are not going to give a crap anymore about it.
I think it could be a full circle moment. He loses. I mean, he wins the title from Cody, and then he loses it to Cody at the end of the year. I think that
could very well happen. That could happen.
Be a full circle moment.
So we have bold predictions. Yours, I've seen around the rumor mill. People saying the same thing you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
My bold prediction, obviously, I don't think it's going to come true, but I'd want it to come true, which is he doesn't win until like Survivor Series. And loses it at that PLE, whatever it is in December, which is only going to be a few weeks later, to whoever won the Money in the Bank contract.
December pay-per-view. John Cena, the time is now. That's it.
Yeah.
WWE, the time is now.
Maybe.
John Cena's last final match.
Yeah. And I want to see him face
3 years
Punk.
from now when John Cena comes out of retirement. And I don't think.
And I want to see him face.
I don't think he will. I don't think.
He'll stay true to.
He'll show up on TV, but I don't think he'll wrestle again after.
My only worry with John Cena is that I think fans had their hopes up that he was going to be on TV a lot more than he has been. And I can see the way.
I think at some point he will start, but I think right now he still has commitments that he needs to fulfill.
I don't know. I think he's going to be doing this. I'll be at all the live events, but that's it.
No,
and
he never said that. He never said he'll be at all of them, but.
Well, I meant the PLEs. PLEs.
I think
he'll be at a majority of those.
Yeah.
But Raw and SmackDown? I don't know. I don't think you're going to see him... Definitely not perform. I don't think you're going to see him in matches.
You might see him do promos. It might be one of those things where he shows up one week and they record like 3 weeks worth of promos.
Probably,
they can do an in-ring one, and then they can do some backstage ones, and
But I was probably one of the idiot fans who thought he was gonna not have any Hollywood commitments at all.
No.
And I'm an idiot for thinking that he's gonna. Because that brings me to my list.
Yeah, we're in for an interesting 2025 with John
Yes,
Cena. I'll say that.
Because it brings me to my last concern, The Rock.
Yeah.
And I've told you my prediction there. And I know you're disappointed. I don't think he has I don't think he has a match at WrestleMania.
Well, no, I don't think he will now either.
Do you think he'll show up at all?
If he does, it's just going to be like, hey guys, 80,000 people at the Las Vegas Sexy Dome or whatever.
Because apparently the rumor with The Rock is that he's annoyed that it got leaked that he wasn't going to be available. He wanted to control the narrative. That his narrative is, be patient, there's still shit gonna happen, but it might take a while for it to happen. And he didn't want to promise, or not promise, he'd be at WrestleMania. He wanted to leave the mystery open, even though I kind of knew he wasn't gonna be there.
What if he makes himself the fourth man in the triple threat? Somehow. Who knows? I think he might make an appearance, but it's just gonna be like rock bottoming fucking Chad Gable or something. I don't think he might anymore.
Do you think he's gonna have any storyline involvement for 2025?
No.
I have to agree with you. Based on what I've seen,
when it comes to The Rock, it's either go big or go home. If he can't be in a main
he's not
event,
John Cena. Yeah. He's not John Cena.
If he's not in a WrestleMania,
John Cena's
he's not gonna do it.
John Cena seems content on sticking his toe just in.
Yeah.
And that's it. The Rock wants to have a full-time feud, or he doesn't do it.
He wants to be the center of attention. Yep.
Yeah, I get it, and I don't think we're going to see that in 2025.
No, not this year. Maybe 2026. Maybe down the line we will.
That window is closing quickly.
Oh yeah, he's getting up there. He's almost 50, or maybe he is 50 now. He's getting up there in age.
Is there a risk we won't see it at all? And it's
He's one injury away from retiring completely. You just be like, he get injured on a movie set and be like, listen. I mean, technically, if you really think about it, he did quietly retire from wrestling before.
Yes.
But now he came back, so it's always going to be up to him. Always going to be up to him. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. We did a little earlier show today because of the Super Bowl. We're going to be enjoying the Super Bowl. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. I have a hard time watching football because I used to play football. And it's kind of like it's almost heartbreaking for me to watch it because I like playing it. So when I watch it, it just frustrates me. But I do support the Eagles, maybe not as much as I used to, but I will watch them in the Super Bowl. I will hope that they win the Super Bowl. And I know that they're playing against Andy Reid's team, so that's interesting.
Chiefs,
Andy Reid has some ties to Philadelphia. For good or for bad.
And if these refs start throwing out 15-yard penalties
I don't think
for breathing near Patrick Mahomes, the WWE refs are better than these guys.
They might as well get Aubrey Edwards out there then. God. Yeah, but we're going to get off here. I think
there's a conspiracy with that, but I'll go on that another day.
God, there's... Any sports, I think, has conspiracies. You ever see boxing? When's the last time you saw a Tyson fight? That's all rigged bullshit, too. It's sometimes I think real sports is more rigged than WWE, to be honest.
Almost.
Anyways, we're going to get off of here, guys. Hopefully everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday, enjoys the Super Bowl, even if you're just watching the commercials. Hopefully there's some good ones. Maybe we'll see a new release trailer for a movie. There we go, the exit song. Oh God. All right. We're gonna get off of here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll be back next week for some more